How's it going, guys, and welcome back to some more FNAF Lore Explained. So, if you guys saw my last video, I have got to FNAF 4. I understand FNAF 1, 2, and 3 now. So today we're going to react to FNAF 4, Sister Location, and the game after that. I don't know the game after that, but let's get into FNAF 4. And apparently this is where it starts getting difficult, so I'm going to enjoy this. So if you guys enjoy this type of FNAF content, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment if you guys want to see more FNAF content where I react to the lore. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into this video.
The game is where it starts to get a little difficult, to the point that once saying we had practically solved FNAF 1 to 3 back in 2015, he then said that FNAF 4 was the one no one got. This one caused a lot
to this day, or like back then?
For a long time, some of which still remains today.
Huh?
At the time, all we knew for certain was that back in 1983, the crying child was bullied by his brother.
Okay, I know about the crying child, like I know him.
For multiple days.
Wait, so...
Okay,
the brother is Mike, okay.
Who we now know is Mike.
Mike Schmidt.
Multiple days straight,
yeah, okay.
Out for his big birthday party. Not at Freddy's, but at Fredbear's family diner.
Okay, 1983.
In the entire timeline. This location featured Fredbear and Spring Bonnie both in their prime, with a secret showing that the Freddy's animatronics, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, also existed at this point too, meaning the first ever Freddy's was probably open at the same time. Interestingly enough, in that secret, Fredbear is also grouped up with these four, a hint at what would later become of Fredbear, becoming just a Golden Freddy, being grouped up with the other four. Throughout each of the days, we see a Fredbear plush monitor his every move, even talking to him from time to time. Eventually, on the crying child's birthday, he would get bullied once again by Mike and his friends.
Why are they bullying him though? Like, what did bro actually do to deserve all this bullying by like teenagers? Like, it's actually like bitch-made behavior from Mike. Like, why bully your brother if you're literally teenagers in like 6?
Being lifted and put inside of Fredbear's mouth. Fredbear malfunctioning and crushing the crying child. The crying child is then sent to the hospital, and after Mike apologizes, someone speaking out of the Fredbear plush states that they'll put him back together, and then we hear the heartbeat flatline as he dies. Then we come to the gameplay part of the story.
Wait, so his brother died?
The biggest and
bro,
most popular...
So he was bullying his brother and actually put him in like the Fredbear mouth as a joke, and I killed him, bro. You would feel so guilty though. Like, you would actually feel so guilty for the rest of your life. So who is the Fredbear plush? Like, who is that person saying they're going to put him back together? Because like, is that like in his head, or is that like an animatronic, like a spirit? I hope I explained it in this video because I'm actually not sure.
Theory was the infamous dream theory by Game Theory. The theory states that everything in FNAF was just a dream by the crying child on his deathbed. The original gang in the TV show, the FNAF 1 phone call, Toy Chica's missing beak,
nah, bro, there's no way.
Shop existing so early, etc., were apparently showing us that each game was a dream, mostly inspired by those things. This turned out to be false, and in retrospect, most of those Easter eggs have an answer that doesn't actually equal to dream theory. The TV show simply showing that the first Freddy's existed alongside Fredbear's in 1983, the FNAF 1 phone call instead revealing that we play as Mike, the older brother in this game. I did think this game was originally going to solve, as Scott trolled us leading up to the game by replacing...
So Fredbear biting Mike's brother was not the bite of 87, because that was in 1983, so... Was that like the bite of 83 or something? Is that I think that's a thing I heard of before. But like, who actually caused the bite of 87? Because we don't actually know who that is yet.
87 in the source code with 83, only in the last day or so, which most miss. And the minigame plush Trap Toya was more so likely just a Spring Bonnie plushie, and nothing to do with Springtrap. Like I said in passing just then, we did eventually figure out that we were instead playing as Mike, after FNAF 1 takes place, having these nightmares of his recent experience at Freddy's due to the phone guy call playing throughout. And I personally believe that the hospital equipment and nightmare / Fredbear stuff appears in his dreams because the crying child is possibly haunting Mike, and is hijacking those nightmares. These are the main / common 3 options with what's going on with the FNAF 4 gameplay nights. 1. Mike has these nightmares because of his experience at Freddy's. His brother interfering every now and then, causing the random hospital equipment...
Oh, so the nightmares is Mike's nightmares, but not the little brother's nightmares, okay. Because the dream theory was false, so this is Mike having the nightmares. And one of the main theories for the hospital things appearing is his brother's like spirit interfering with his dreams. If that makes sense.
2. Mike has these nightmares only because of his brother hijacking his dreams, and trying to show Mike what these experiences are, what he went through. Or maybe even a mix of both the first option 2 with Mike's own recent experiences at Freddy's, causing the nightmares to follow the same patterns as the FNAF 1 animatronics. Or 3, Mike doesn't have these as actual nightmares in his sleep, and is instead actually in the experimental location in FNAF 4. The crying child interacting with him.
I don't understand that though. I don't think so. That's a bit too far-fetched for FNAF.
Now is that I keep calling this guy the Crying Child, and that's the most common name for him right now. Although during the making of this video, I do believe I have actually discovered the real name for him within the
what is it?
logbook. Much like how we got the name for the fifth missing child, Cassidy, within it too. I'll get into all of that and more in depth later on though.
Bruh.
Alongside those main theories,
Never mind that, we're not going to find out for a bit then.
Endless theories all about what was inside FNAF 4's box. But Scott has since mentioned how the contents of the box have actually been changed and corrected multiple times in fear of how the fans would accept the answer. And so honestly, there's no
Why are you changing it though?
actually trying to figure out what's inside the box, as the correct answer figured out today may not actually be the correct answer figured out years later.
Oh, new challenger, who is it this time?
Nightmare from FNAF 4.
Mrs. Pinball.
Also know that Nightmare is referred to as Shadow Freddy in the FNAF 4 files. Those who know this accepted that and went on their way. But how?
I know about
the
the nightmares.
The same. To that, we have to go to the books. We specifically
The books, okay. I don't know anything about the books, guys. Like this is completely out of my like knowledge tree. So this is gonna be new to me. Hide and seek book, okay.
Story. In the story, Shadow Bonnie gains more power and agony from Tobias's emotions.
Tobias is who?
More nightmarish. It gets bigger, grows sharper claws, and gains
What the fuck
teeth.
is that?
I think that this is trying to show us that when empowered with enough agony, or more specifically, emotional energy, the shadows can grow into more nightmare-like creatures. So let's look at Nightmare, and his particular voice line that he says to William.
That's freaky as
What this
hell.
means is that Shadow Freddy is made more powerful from the actions and grief surrounding William's misdeeds, which was killing and torturing children, eventually becoming the freak of nature we see in FNAF 4. In Hide and Seek, as Shadow Bonnie grows in power, he gets closer to Tobias. In FNAF 2, Shadow Freddy is in the back room. In FNAF 3, he's right next to Michael. In the FNAF 4 gameplay, he's actually able to attack in his upgraded form, Nightmare.
Okay, so
I
it's
think
like
Hide and Seek was trying to reveal to us the nature of agony entities in this way.
so this is what a new challenger. What?
Each victim is built of the
Shih Tzu 31.
idea that the bite victim
What?
we play as in Five Nights at Freddy's 4's minigames doesn't possess an animatronic, but rather the plushies he was holding in the hospital, which during the events of FNAF World are placed inside of the MCI, making his memories shattered amongst them, and why Happiest Day was his birthday, yet set the other 5 kids free. An alternative would include Michael Afton as the 6th piece of the bite victim, explaining why he seems to have bite victims' memories during the events of FNAF 4, why he can manipulate Mike's logbook, and gives a potential answer as to what Midnight Motorist was.
What is Midnight Motorist? What?
One of FNAF's most mysterious games has to be
Alpine,
FNAF
hello.
4, with a real. With FNAF 4 supposedly taking place above FNAF's sister location, the FNAF 4 protagonist was the perfect lab rat to test out William's tech. But why would he do that to his own child? It's almost like he's insane or something. The story once went that William was using illusion disc tech, showcased in the Twisted Ones novel.
What is this Batman shit, bro? Illusion disc technology, but this like, but the William Afton is Batman. Like he's literally Bruce Wayne if he was evil, bro. Illusion disc tech. What?
Nightmares look like nightmare fuel. Whether the nightmares are real or not is always up for interpretation, but with characters like the Freddles being straight up hallucinations, and Nightmare Freddy explaining that he was remade by Cassidy, topping it all off with Nightmare Fredbear supposedly in Afton Purgatory during UCN, saying,
"This time, there is more than an illusion to fear."
Hinting that previously they were nothing more than an illusion. It is heavily suggested that they were real, just hallucinations within the mind, rather than having any physical presence.
Okay. Alright guys, next game, FNAF World. I thought it was Sister Location, so is it FNAF World and then Sister Location? Okay, so we're in FNAF World now. And I don't really know much about this game.
Obviously didn't have much lore that came from it, but the most common theory from it was that it had some connections to FNAF 3 and maybe even the FNAF 4 box. The theory goes that things in FNAF World, such as how to achieve the clock ending, and all the references to finding pieces and putting them back together, are all parallels to how the FNAF 3 minigames are completed, in this case put together to create Happiest Day. And that since the FNAF 4 box is open in the FNAF World's files, maybe Happiest Day, or what it represents, is actually what's in the box. So basically, with the intro including a spirit saying I'll put you back together, FNAF World is a handcrafted experience for the Crying Child, likely by Charlie, helping put the memories all together in order to create Happiest Day for all the spirits. Basically,
What is that like text? I couldn't really read the subtitles. Since besides Elizabeth, no one else is dead at this point to do all this for Crying Child, and Charlie is protector / guiding spirit. Okay.
You can put the memories all
Charlie's
together
the guiding
in order
spirit,
to create
okay.
happiest day for all the spirits. Basically, think Ultimate Custom Night for Afton.
I don't know what that
FNAF
is.
World for the
I
Crying
have no idea
Child.
what UCN
A theory
is.
alongside that is that while the Crying Child helps create the happiest day that we see in FNAF 3 in some way, he himself isn't actually there, and instead has his happiest day with his family here, with this scene of 3 people in front of a TV of sorts, which is titled Happiest Day in the files.
But this is great. I said this in the last video, right? But FNAF fans are crazy, right? To go into the source code, go into the game file, to do everything, to find out everything. But I respect it though. It is really good dedication to the games.
As being the Crying Child, Mike, and Elizabeth watching TV together. Another theory is that FNAF World itself is instead a haven of sorts for the spirits after being freed, and that's why all the characters are here. However, despite these theories, the game has admittedly been disowned by Scott since its release, and he has gone on record to say that he regrets tying FNAF World into the lore. So it's safe to say it doesn't
Goodbye,
have
FNAF
much
World.
importance in the greater scheme of things, and that appears to be true because even if this theory is taken away, we know that Happiest Day still happens regardless.
Oh, new challenger. Who is
That
this?
world could be a trap set by
Suffolk City.
William to create a false happiest day. Whoever Glitchbear is in world is meant to be the same person as the Fredbear plushie's final speaker in FNAF 4. If William is the final speaker, then that means he would also be Glitchbear, but William knows his soul was shattered after the Bite of 83.
Okay, this is Bite of
uses his
83,
shattered
okay.
soul to
I knew
learn
the Bite
how
of
to
83 was
break
something,
and mend
so I had this Bite of
souls
83,
by using
okay.
Cassidy to help him find his way by leaving breadcrumbs for him, leading him to put himself back together by intertwining his soul with the MCI kids, as evidenced by the same clues in FNAF 3 to complete that happiest day. In doing so, William created a false happiest day for the MCI and CC to maintain their trust and for him to effortlessly control the spirits to do his bidding, like in the novel.
I don't know if that's true. How could a human create something like that for dead children? I think that's why it's red though. Red means it is like a bias theory that they believe, but it's not actually like actual theory. You know what I mean? Like it's not like confirmed or anything. So that's what he was, a bit far-fetched. I don't believe it because it doesn't really make sense how you could do that.
Video I made on the subject.
But okay, there we go. This is for Sister Location. So I played Sister Location a while ago, but I don't know anything about it. Like I literally just know Baby, Ballora, and Ennard, and you get scooped at the end. But apart from that, I don't know any lore. So this will be very good to know because I feel like Sister Location has a lot.
This game immediately tells us that we're playing as Michael, Mike for short, which fans
Okay.
immediately connected to FNAF.
I didn't actually know that. I never noticed that.
This even further proved that we play as this Mike character in every single game, as the pattern seemed to continue. Sister Location itself was the game that seemed to point the story of FNAF to be a story about the William Afton family, a family tainted by their father's evil. Featuring
So
the youngest
how old is Mike as like of FNAF 3? Because FNAF 3 is in the future in 2023. Because it's 30 years after 1993. So how old is Mike then? I want to know that in like FNAF 3. He must be like old, right?
Similar to his sister, who would later learn is named Elizabeth, who got killed by Circus Baby, as shown in the secret minigame here. Then finally there's Michael, the
That's
oldest
fucking
half
dark.
brother to both
That's
who
really
plays
dark.
in this game, and who seemingly works against his father throughout the story. The story of this game features 2 locations, Circus Baby's Pizza World and Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals. Here, that entertainment and rentals only existed as William's private workshop until the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closed from the
Okay.
missing children's incident. As Hand Unit mentions how this location only opened after the closure of a Freddy's location. After working on the job for 5 nights, the
Okay.
Fun Times eventually enact their plan and script themselves in order to come together and form the animatronic amalgamation that is Ennard.
Oh, that's
They actually
Ennard. I
tricked
didn't
Mike
actually
to
know that was
go
all
into
of
the
them.
scooping room scooping side and, well, getting scooped. This causes Ennard to go into Mike's body and puppeteer it for the time being. Eventually, with the Custom Night DLC, we got more cutscenes where we see Mike's body slowly start to rot more and more, to the point that...
Wait, so is Sister Location after or before FNAF? Because if Sister Location is before FNAF 3, how is Mike being the guard in FNAF 3? So Sister Location must be after, right? Or no? Now I'm confused because if he was taken over by Ennard, right? This must have been before FNAF 3 or after FNAF 3. Sorry. So I don't understand how.
eventually has to
Unless he
leave
explains
since it's
that.
simply unusable now. causing Anna to enter the sewers, but Mike, with some encouragement from his sister, continues to live.
Oh,
Eventually,
I literally had to listen for 5 more seconds and I would have understood.
And judging by the visuals on screen, he successfully did just that. Timeline-wise, some suggest this location actually comes before FNAF 2, meaning the older reason.
So if I literally just was quiet for 10 more seconds, I would have got every single answer here. So timeline-wise,
some suggest this location actually comes before FNAF 2,
before FNAF 2.
meaning the older reason Mike gets fired isn't just a joke anymore and is now actually given some proper lore importance, while others, like me, suggest the game goes in between FNAF 1 and FNAF 3.
Okay.
That Mike's speech at the
That
end
would be
of the
FNAF 2 though, right?
the lead up into the story of
What?
FNAF 3. Which makes sense considering this Steam post from Scott states that the cutscene helps complete the story at the time by telling us where Mike goes after his journey as ex-Benedict. And that the Tales from the Pizzaplex story Didophobia shows the fun times
Didophobia? Oh wait, no,
20 years after the
Didophobia.
nightmare
Jeez, I need to read.
which we know exists back in 1983, making the fun times still intact in the 2000s, after FNAF 1.
Wait,
Back in
what was that fact?
Making the fun times
If true, this location takes place sometime in or after the year 2003, okay?
After FNAF 1. A theory that
Yes.
goes hand in hand with the latter option is that the Funtime animatronics actually contain the spirits of the original missing children, which is seemingly hinted at in the trailer as well, with the quotes, "You don't know what we've been through, where memories sleep, etc." And this theory was later given a lot more evidence and explained in multiple sources, which we'll get into further in the next game, but all in all, it seems pretty solidified that the Funtimes contain Remnant thanks to the Scooper, and the specific Remnant that they have is from the original FNAF 1 animatronics after the Follow Me minigames, when William destroys them and takes their endoskeleton parts.
Okay.
A theory that arose from this game comes from the ended boss battle featuring a familiar Fredbear plush, with what looks to be a remote or maybe even a walkie-talkie. This does confirm that William Afton was definitely the one spying on the crying child,
What?
even having cameras set up in his room. Which
Bro, this guy's crazy.
One question that did
This guy's like a
arise from this game
mastermind.
was how on earth did Mike survive this? He even says in his speech that he should be dead, so how? Well, like I mentioned previously, the Scooper is later revealed to have Remnant within it, meaning that when he was scooped with it, he was likely actually injected with it. This may mean that...
This is some mad DC Marvel shit, bro. He was injected with Remnant. What? Okay, bro. I need to wrap my head around this. This is getting complex.
sort of healing ability. Also,
Some sort of healing ability, that's crazy.
Mike was actually a robot the entire time, and that's how he survived. Although Scott has gone on to mention how the Scooper worked and confirmed...
I'm going to delete this for you because I was in the middle of answering. I don't think any kind of single scoop to the abdomen could pull out your old skeleton. Just imagine torso as a jack-o'-lantern and you've got the right idea. And then if something's wrong inside of you, you could probably manually empty out the rest.
Fact, human with human organs. Although this shouldn't have ever been questioned in the first place, let's be real.
New challenger.
Now, I'd like to flex my massive
Jesse
brain with the
talks.
theory laying out every way the books are and aren't canon, but I, 1, value my life, and 2, haven't touched either Tales or Frights. What can I say? I was never book smart. Rather, I'd like to take this chance to touch on a theory that I'm sure we've all heard of. Sister Location adult theory.
No.
The story goes, in
What?
the early run of Sister Location, Kane Carter speculated that this next installment would go into
Pop
much
go-
more
wait,
mature.
who is that?
In the early run of Sister Location,
Well, this one's so
Kane
fast.
Carter speculated
Kane Carter, Pop Goes Developer, not an actual weasel,
this next
I
installment
think.
would go in a much more mature direction, and could be focused on a Fazbear's location with adult entertainment. The story following the animatronics' trauma from such a place. Now, did he end up being wrong? But, I mean, at least for the sake of it.
Adult entertainment does not mean what I think it is.
Look, I joke, but he did map out his thought process in evidence.
I'll try to clear up the adult theory. First of all, even though I'll be calling it one for the sake of consistency, this is not a fully fledged theory because the game is not out yet. It is a prediction I've had ever since the trailer came out. I've spoken with numerous people for help with evidence, and trust me, it's not some joke theory. I've kept it quiet on Reddit for a reason. I teased it somewhat today, and now people are insulting me left and right. Sometimes even calling me sick, which is a bit far. So I'm going to try and clear this up just a bit. As a disclaimer, in case you were young, which is very probable after what I've seen here today, this theory involves adult themes. I'm not going to be showing any nudity or sex, but I will be talking about things which might be inappropriate for young readers. But are these not kids? Are these not kids possessing these souls? So that adult theme would be very weird if that was a thing.
It's a bit of a dead horse. I think people are especially harsh on Kane nowadays, but a piece of FNAF history that I was happy to talk about.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Challenger!
When was
DW
Sister
Fan 91.
Location? Arguably one of the toughest questions going around the fandom, and for good reason. Was it before FNAF 1, after FNAF 1, before FNAF 2, after FNAF 4? Many questions, but I think that I
Always got an answer. Biased though, but we'll see.
narrative and thematic sense to the story. It gets confusing keeping track of who the fun times are and where they came from, but given what Hand Unit says in the opening for Night 1, we can confirm that the events of this game take place after a Freddy Fazbear's has shut down. So let's think about this. Michael has gone down to the bunker, presumably because his father is doing something else. Okay, let's note that down. We have a story about
his father's doing something else and he's in the basement.
Into an old location with abandoned animatronics that eventually get dismantled, ultimately resulting in him meeting a sticky end where, despite sustaining injuries that one could have no hope of surviving, he inexplicably does so. Wait a second, this is sounding kind of familiar. The Follow Me minigames and sister location happen at the same time. But that's just a theory.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't think they take this at the same time. I think 2003 is like the best, like 2003, which was after FNAF 2 but before FNAF 3. So guys, that is FNAF 4, FNAF World and Sister Location done now. So as what I always do at the end of this video, I'll do a summary. So FNAF 4 was in Mike's head like a dream because he's having nightmares, kind of like what he did to his brother. Like he bullied his brother with his friends and like put him in Fredbear's head as a joke. And because of that, like his like brother got like bite of 83, which killed him. And obviously Mike feels guilty, so he's having nightmares, and all of the hospital equipment coming up in his nightmares is kind of like his like brother, kind of like possessing his dreams, kind of like make you like, yeah, this is what happened to me, like this is what I went through, type of thing. And then at the end, like he died, but he was kind of free. And then FNAF World didn't really have much lore because obviously it was like kind of like a kind of guy game. And then FNAF Sister Location had like a lot where like Mike is William's son, and he went to the basement to kind of go against his dad William, and at the end he kind of got like scooped him up, and then Ennard kind of like possessed him, and then he's kind of like getting possessed all over time. But then Ennard was like, okay, your buddy's sister's not going to leave, but miraculously Mike survived because of like the remnant inside the scooper kind of like kept him alive, kind of like a healing ability. So that's what I got so far. I think I might have missed some things. It's getting really confusing now, but if I have, just let me know in the comments, guys. Go like, yes, you're right, but this is what you got wrong. Let me know down below what theory you guys have about these games, because these games seem to have like very like open-minded theories where like it could be about anything. Like you can come up with a theory such as the adult theory, which is fucking weird, but you can come up with like a theory about these games, kind of piece it together. So if you guys have any of your own theories, let me know down below. Let me know down below what I got right, what I got wrong. And if you guys enjoyed this type of FNAF content, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment on what you guys want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. FNAF Pizza Race, please be a bit easier for me, bro, please.